Psychopathic pacing, including while they're driving to this is psychopathic pacing. And here's my shadows traveling. And this is stalking while I'm walking through the neighborhood. They're monitoring. This is the same street, by the way, where the fake son is at the Open Family Community Library. 7. The Ontario Police engaging in police training. 7. The fake sun setting right here. 6 in the evening. This is the entity that's maintaining that fake sun and stalking me by helicopter. This is them using the police vehicles, stalking. And this is psychopathic pacing. Don't be distracted by the logos on the vehicles. They're being disbanded. These are demons. And the people are stalking with the state in the specific environment. Okay, this is P.O.C. Here's multiple shadows. Here's one over here. This is the shadow. There, the engineer light. Okay, you're talking about just the color of lights. It doesn't explain her shadow just shot all the way up there. That's a demon. She's monitoring. And they are psychopathic while they gang stalk you and don't address you. They're supposed to be strangers, and they are supposed to be engaging in something related to the execution of duties of officers. They're demons, and they're engaged in criminal facilitation. This is the pattern of conduct. They're being disbanded. This is P.O.C. Don't forget what the entity is doing at the square today under the fake sun. That's a molestation. That's vehicle 1616297, vehicle 1042. That's a sex offender, and they're going to prison. That's sexual assault and battery. They're all stalking. This is the entity and this is all about me. That's also why they're going to prison, because they commit murder under these malicious circumstances. They're monitoring together. This is federal stalking, DJ95E51. On the roads and the highways where the fake sun rises and sets. This is the evidence that's going to put them in prison as well. This is gang violence. This is the same department kidnapping, making malicious assertions, defaming my character, and also conspiring with Tracy Banks, Jason Fields. They're paid to engage in gang stalking, and they're doing so while they're wearing guns. Keeping their back to me is not less of a threat. It's more of a threat. They're engaging in the pattern of conduct as those that are supposed to be executing the duties of officers when they're actually conspiring your murder, gang stalking. You're going to look at their shadows on the walls. These are demons. And there's a body of evidence of the Ontario Police not engaging in anything in Ontario around me in relevant position concerning me and everything pertaining to me and everyone else around me other than monitoring. This is demonic activity that the people of the state, the ones that stalk and engineer light like they are right now, are sharing in. And what's happening is while they are on C Street, I'm on B Street, which is relevant positioning, and they're stalking in the path with light activity. This is the iteration of stalking with light, whereas the fake sun, that's over my head, and they're pacing all around me all day long. Okay? That's the entity. They're using what is engineer light right now. This vehicle 1120, license 1697634. That's a male with a thick, heavy mustache. This is psychopathic pacing, sexual assault and battery, 9WMY 783. The people are stalking with the police. This is federal prison. That's criminal summoning. They're going to prison together. They're not getting out of anything. Being in the presence of the police is incriminating to them. They're going to federal prison. This is P.O.C. License plate 6BJA290. That's federal prison. That's a Latino male going to federal prison. And that's sexual assault and battery. Wells Fargo's engaged in criminal summoning. Downtown Ontario Luxury Apartments engaged in criminal summoning. You already know that. Ontario Town Square, the airport is stalking here. That's the same demon. That's sexual assault and battery. That's the same demon engaged in criminal summoning at the library where the entity is stalking by helicopter. You guys are going to be committed, just so that you know that. That's sexual assault and battery. Mike LORENZ is going to prison. License 1680784, vehicle 1108. This light activity is demonic. 1697700. Why are they turning their sirens on? Because they're demons. Audible activity, demon. She's going to prison. That's Casas. She's going to prison. She's a psychopath. They all are. This is Engineer Light. 1680784, prison. License 1614297, vehicle 1042. That was all about stalking me. This is gang violence. Those are the feces consumers. Those are the gang leaders. Mike LORENZ is going to prison for the demons that are engaged in a pattern of conduct, putting him as a terrorist leader in prison. That's why they're engaged. That was harassment, sexual assault and battery, federal stalking under Title 18, and criminal facilitation of it. And the people of the state whose license plate I just read, the facilitating venues are sharing in it. This is the entity that's engaged in that. And you're also going to look at the ease with which, the casual, nonchalant demeanor with which they threaten and engage in psychological torture, because that's what all of that was. They're engaging in stalking me, and stalking is executed through gang stalking police officers through what are traffic stops. Okay, that's the pattern of conduct. S. Casas is the one that's with Sergeant Hall while you're talking about under the fake moon, while you're engaging in the pattern of conduct, while the entity is stalking day and night in helicopter, that somebody, who is the somebody? The ones that they're pulling over in traffic stops, stalking me together. The ones that are gang stalking with impossible light, like they're stalking me together, talking about they got a call. While they're stalking, you're going to prison for that, and they're being diagnosed with their malicious audible activity. These are demons that are stalking me. They're not doing anything, including while they use what is a traffic stop as a means to be in the path. This is what Jason Knighton and Lester Keys engaged in January of 2020. They're going to prison. That's a threat to your life. That ongoing unlawful threat while they're bearing those guns and weapons, while they're wearing those badges, which they use, just like LAPD, running somebody over in the middle of the street while they merely turn their sirens on in order to be relieved of responsibility only on the surface. Because you're not going to question it when they are in those vehicles in those positions, but you are questioning it. And it's not legitimate. And they're already proven as stalkers. And those are the that's the entity that is stalking, and so are the people of the state. These are demons molesting. It wasn't different. You just saw them engaging in it with blue and red lights. And they're hostile because I'm documenting, and everybody I just documented is going to prison. Just want to be clear on that. And they're going to prison for the disregard. That's what you're looking at. First of all, the world that you're looking at, the disregard for law and order, they're unfit. They're not staying in law enforcement. They're being removed from law enforcement. But you're also looking at what is the ongoing unfit, incompetent, and untrustworthy criminals who are engaging in what is abusing positions that they are not fit to be in the first place. And you're looking at their casual, cavalier disposition while they are engaging in criminal activity, unprecedented criminal activity, which they aid in. They are the demon possessed altogether. Okay? It is intolerable for demons. They are unfit. They have no business in law enforcement, and everybody on the Ontario Police Department is demon possessed, as are the people of the state. Okay, I'm showing you the pattern of conduct every day. The Ontario Police are stalking with the Ontario International Airport. It's not different right now. And this is the same block where the fake sun is rising and setting. Ovid Family Community Library to Vos Church. Police training at 7 in the morning. To Ovid Family Community Library, 7 in the morning. Sunset at 6 in the evening. Stalking me by helicopter. Engaging criminal stalking. All manner of the Ontario Police stalking at this block. Essentially, basically every hour of the day while the fake sun is remaining. They're going to prison. I just documented an unlawful threat. They are going to federal prison. This is P.O.C. And what you're paying attention to, because they're already proven as stalkers, you look at their demeanor, you look at their attitude, you look at the casualty with which they're engaging in terrorism, because that's what that is. That is terrorism, and they're engaging in it with a sarcastic, cavalier, nonchalant engagement. That is not any analysis regarding what is the absence of a threat. Those are cold-blooded serial killers who are hostile to being documented. That's why they're removing my evidence off the internet. That's why they're kidnapping. That's why they're engaging in what is stalking and engaging in what is defaming my character and doing so with regard to the conspiracy to commit murder. This is POC. A psychopath is stalking you and keeping their back to you. A coward is gang stalking you. Murderers are doing it while they're calling themselves police officers. They're murderers. Okay? And one of them you already know. You've seen them. Escasa, she's going to federal prison. This is POC. It is currently 10:48 p.m. And what is not going to be missed, what shall be appreciated, is the fact that I am engaging in what is maintaining this case, which is already fully prosecuted. And the fact that it's a threat to my life, because I go right into that threat. You're being prosecuted for that. That's not the absence of a threat. That's an ongoing burden that I never should have had to endure in the first place. Okay, so this is the entity that wanted to murder and then control the narrative as though I'm some drug addict, I'm some criminal, I'm the one that's in the wrong. That's not the narrative that's going on here. So you have this attitude, you have this cavalier conduct, which is unhelpful. They are from every facet, every angle. They're on the wrong side of the law, and they are shown to be psychopaths, unstable, stalking. Mike LORENZ is being prosecuted with this. Every single last video against that department is going to be used against every single last one of them, showing the pattern of conduct that they share. Not only in Ontario, but with the state of California. Demons, gang stalking. This is POC. It is currently 10:49 p.m. I read every single license plate, those remaining at the scene, and those engaged in psychopathic pacing, equally federal prison. POC.